Hi folks, I'm on Interstate 10 westbound approaching Lake Charles, Louisiana. I travel back and forth from Virginia to Texas, and I've made this trip quite a few times. And I'll be making it several more times, I guess. My daughter's in Houston, my wife's in Virginia, so I split my time between the two places. And that means I'm on the road quite a bit, because I usually make the trip twice a month, and I do part of the month in Virginia and part of the month in Texas. And I don't hardly do any festivals anymore. Instead of festivals, I've got a market that I do in Virginia. It's a small market, but that's okay. And in a couple of days, I'm going to start doing a pretty big market in Houston, Texas. But traveling back and forth, I try to keep my trips as economical as I can, and that means not spending much when I'm driving, if I can avoid it. And I don't stop at hotels. I haven't had to spend the night in a hotel or motel, whatever you want to call it. I haven't had to do that in a long time. I stay at campgrounds. I've got my truck. You can see this. I've got different videos here on my channel about truck camping, and that's what I do. And this particular video, I thought I would speak to finding places to stay, because if you're going to do the same route a lot, or even if you're not, you want to have a decent place to spend the night without spending too much money. That's my criteria. And I've got to change hands here. I'm sure you can't see as well, but I can't hold my camera as well with that other hand. When I first started traveling, I would look for Walmarts and spend the night in a Walmart parking lot. And there's an app and a website called iOverlander, and it's all about finding places where you can spend the night without spending much of any money. And Walmart is a place where you don't have to pay to spend the night in their parking lot. But not all Walmarts are going to let you do that. And I found you can look at the app and maybe it'll list the Walmart, maybe it won't. Maybe people stayed there, maybe they haven't. If you go ask, I've learned the hard way.
1 mile. Use the left 2 lanes to continue on I-10 west toward Lake Charles.
I use Waze. That's Waze telling me how to get there, as if I couldn't find it myself. I've done this trip often enough that I pretty much know. Walmarts are a last resort for me. I really don't like staying in Walmart parking lots. I've done it at several of them. It's just, you don't, I don't carry a generator, so my electricity is limited to a little Jackery 300, and I've got a couple of solar panels on my truck. That's not enough.
Continue on I-10 west toward Lake Charles. Police reported ahead.
200 watts of electrical isn't enough.
In 3.8 miles. Continue on I-10 west.
200 watts of solar is not enough to heat, to make the back of my truck comfortably warm. So that's all you're going to get at a Walmart. You're not going to get anything other than the restroom if it's a 24-hour Walmart. If it's not, you don't even have it as a restroom at night.
Police reported ahead.
So, I've also stayed at Walmart where that was the place where the teenagers hung out. And they would drive their cars and pickup trucks and such around the perimeter of the Walmart parking lot with when I was a teenager, I did it too. Loud music, loud pipes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But if you're trying to get some rest, yeah, that's not all that comfortable. Truck stops, it depends on the truck stop. There are a lot of them. They don't want you there more than an hour. They put signs out. I don't want to stay someplace where there's a sign that says you can only be here for an hour. Now there's an exception to that. But if you're on a Walmart parking lot after if it closes at night, and you're there after hours, you're basically trespassing. They can nail you for that. Truck stops are noisy, but it's just truckers. The engines running. I can deal with that, but a lot of the places, the big gas stations, there may be a truck stop on one side, but the gas station where the people where cars go for gasoline, that parking lot right there, there's a real good chance there's going to be signs all over that says you can't stay here. I've been running into that kind of thing more and more. I'm not in an RV.
Use the left 2 lanes to continue on I-10 West.
I'm not in an RV, so they don't look at me like I'm a traveler. Whenever I'm in the back of my truck, they see that as homeless. I've run into that paradigm a number of times. There's a lot of places that don't want you around if they think you're homeless. I'm not homeless. I got 2 homes. Maybe 3. But the freebie places, for the most part, are so
Watch
hit or
out.
miss.
Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
She's sure being chatty today. The freebie places, just I've had better luck stopping at rest areas than I have at Walmart's truck stops.
Continue on I-10 West.
Another popular place is the Cracker Barrel. You start looking around. There's some standard places where people stay, and some of them are okay, some of them are not. Just staying in somebody's parking lot of a store is just something that I'm not real thrilled about. I haven't really had bad experiences, but it's never a restful night. Interstate rest areas, surprisingly, they may say they only let 2 hours, or some of them will say 4 hours. If it says 4 hours, I'm golden, because I can easily get about as much rest as I need in 4 hours while I'm driving, because I can always pull over at another rest stop 4 or 5 hours from now and get a little bit more rest. I've found on my route rest areas that they don't seem to care. In fact, I think for the most part, nobody, or at least in the states that I travel through, people don't really care, because the truckers anymore, they provide for them at these rest areas, and they let the truckers stay all night. If they're going to let the truckers stay all night, they're not going to worry about somebody down at the far end of the parking lot. You know, getting a few hours rest. That's the point of the place. So if I'm going to go to a no-pay kind of place, then it's probably just a highway rest stop. Because I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be cooking. I have several stoves with me. I can cook. I've got a refrigerator. But I don't want to cook at these freebie places. You know, you're not going to set up a stove in the Walmart parking lot. Come on. Don't do that. So what I look for are campgrounds. Private campgrounds, for the most part, are too expensive. You're not finding a private campground. I like to get electricity. I want electricity because if I've got electricity, my daughter's got me set up with a home internet system and a laptop. I've got my laptop. I plug in that home internet system and my laptop. I can sit there and I've got just as good a internet reception as I do anywhere else. You know, at a fixed location. So I've got that, but I've got to have electrical power. Well, I've got my little jackery. I can do internet power for a few hours without any problem, just running off of that little 300 jackery. But if I want to do anything else, like maybe boil some water to make some coffee, or if I do want to cook because I'm at a regular campground, I can. And I've got the electrical power. I plug in my electric skillet and I'm cooking. Or maybe I want to start a little fire in my. I've got the not the smallest of these little pellet stoves, but I've got one size up. It's a personal size pellet stove. I can cook on that. I made dinner last night with a 2-quart Dutch oven and my little. It's a Mesa XL. I've got one of those. It worked great. I was at an established campground. Well, the way I found this campground, usually I look online, and if you find the federal campgrounds, if you got the America the Beautiful Pass, you know, especially the senior stuff, you know, you get the campgrounds usually for half price. So you can almost guaranteed if you're going to a federal campground, probably the big ones not, but the ones I'm around, it's, well, there's one I go to, it's a Army Corps of Engineers. Army Corps of Engineers campsites are great. They have connections, they've got hot water showers, and they cost under 20 bucks. The one I go to when I'm going to Missouri, it's a $10 campsite. 10 or is it 13? I forget. It's not a whole lot. Private campgrounds, you're going to spend 50 bucks for sure. You're not going to find one much less than that. State parks can be hit or miss. What I did last night was I had planned. I try to make this a 3-day trip. I can do it in 2 days, but it's just so much more comfortable to make this trip in 3 days, and I do it often enough that I don't really need to save a whole lot of time. I'm watching traffic here. I stayed at a state park the first day of this trip, and I don't remember which state it was in Georgia.
Continue straight for 20 minutes to I-10 West, entering Texas.
My route to get from Virginia to Texas clips a corner of Georgia, and there was a campground there that I hadn't stayed at. Nice enough campground, 20 miles off the round trip to go to it and come back, and it was okay, but even after the senior discount, they wanted $5 just for me to be there and be inside the park, and then I had to pay a camping fee. And with the with the senior discount, I think it was like 20%. I was still paying almost $45 for the campground. Now, it was electric and it had hot showers. Most of the state parks, if the state park's big enough to have electric sites, it's usually got hot showers. And the federal ones, like the Army Corps of Engineers, they have electric and hot showers. My experience is if you can get an electric site, you can have a hot shower somewhere there. And recreation.gov is how I find the federal sites. Haven't had much luck finding state sites. State sites, usually you have to go to the state. And I make my reservations on the web, usually. Well, last night I had planned to stay. I think it was going to be a freebie place, which I didn't. It said there was a campground there, but I didn't think there would be electrical site or electrical. It was a wildlife management area, and I went on a goose chase trying to find that place. Didn't work out, and so here I am thinking I was done for the day, and I'm just starting to drive into Louisiana, and I'd come out of Mississippi. I'm in Louisiana, thought I had a place to stay, timed it and it didn't work out because I couldn't find a place. Well, I saw one of these little signs off of Interstate 12, which goes around New Orleans, I think. Anyway, I was on Interstate 12 and I saw a sign that said State Park such and such. And it showed the little camping icon, and I thought, I'm going to give this, what have I got to lose? So I turned off there. I got to a very nice state park, and I went inside the office to get registered, thinking it was going to, usually most of them are under $50. Turned out this was under $16. Nice campground, electric site, hot water showers, and it was $15 and change. Now, she may have given me a senior discount, I don't know. My driver's license says I'm a veteran, so I may have gotten that kind of discount too, I don't know. But she said I should expect to pay this at all of the Louisiana campgrounds, or Louisiana state parks, which I'm going to go back to that place again. $16, $15 and change, you got electric and hot showers. I wish they were all that way. But I took a chance on this one, and I just saw the sign and I turned off thinking I don't have anything to lose at this point. So that really worked out. Now,
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
State parks are kind of hit and miss, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're usually good sites, but they can be kind of expensive. $15, $16, anything under $20, I will jump on that instead of doing a free place, because for that price, if you do the free sites, okay, so you didn't have to pay anything at Walmart, but if you go down the road a little bit and you want to take a shower at one of these truck stops, it's going to cost you almost $20. By the time you get a soft drink and leave, you've spent $20 on getting a shower. You know, it's the last one I did was $17. The entire campground with hot showers and electrical site was $1 cheaper. So last night. So yeah, look around. But don't be afraid to stay at a rest area. Rest areas, so what do they got, a 2-hour limit? You know, if it's after dark when you're stopping, in my experience, now I don't usually go to places where I'm the only person. I think that's a security issue. But as long as you're seeing other people there, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And if you get the knock, okay, I've been there 3 hours and I was only allowed to be there 2 hours. I'm sorry, I fell asleep. This is a rest area and I'm on my way. I won't argue with them, but I've never got the knock. So look for finding places to stay if you're truck camping like I am, and you're traveling, which that's why I wouldn't be truck camping really, not very often anyway, and if it wasn't for traveling. But as it is, I truck camp frequently. And first choice is Corps of Engineers campgrounds, the federal places. Second choice, I would say, would be the state parks. But getting a senior discount and finding good prices on them, that's kind of hit or miss. But third choice, I'm going to say third choice is rest area, highway rest areas. There are a couple going across Mississippi. Highway 59 on Mississippi, there's one on each side of the road. There's northbound, southbound, in 2 locations. Rest areas that are parking area only. They do not have services or security. Well, I carry my own security. And they don't have restrooms. Well, fine, go to the restroom before you get there. And if you're a guy, for sure, carry a pee bottle. But you should be doing that anyway. This is a place you can spend the night without any problem at all. Now, it gets noisy because the truckers stay there, but those engine noises, you get used to them. So that's how I look. I look online. Recreation.gov is good for federal sites, and that's how you usually have to reserve them. State websites, you usually have to go to the state website to find a state park. There's a couple of websites out there where you can make reservations at state parks. It's not recreation.gov, it's a commercial site, and I've run across that a couple of times. But last night I just drove up to the place and said, here I am. Now, I was not coming in late. I think you may have a completely different experience if you get there after 5 o'clock. But I'm trying to limit the amount of hours I drive per day. I can do 800 miles in a day, and I do that a little too often, but I prefer something 500 or less. And if I leave early in the morning, that gets me in well before 5 o'clock. So you can also find rest areas. Just you can search for them, but if you're traveling the same roads like I do, I keep a little notepad here, and I write down the highway I'm on, what mile marker it is, and what mile marker the rest area is at. I do that, and I also, my favorite gas stations, I write down where my favorite gas stations are using mile markers. And if there's an item of interest like that, if you come off that 18-mile bridge here on Interstate 10, that bridge, there's a Atchafalaya Welcome Center is halfway across, and it looks like that may be a free place to stay. It's a rest area, but it's also a welcome center. But it's right in the middle of that 18-mile bridge. I write down that what mile markers those things are. And mile marker 97, for example, on Interstate 10 in Louisiana, that's where Kirchner's Meat Market and Billy's, the Boudin places, where you get there. As you're traveling along here, there must be at least a half a dozen Boudin stores, and everybody says they got the best Boudin, or best Boudin balls, or crackling. And I usually go to Kirchner's. But Billy's is right at that same exit. That's exit 97. I write that stuff down until I memorize it, but now I've kind of memorized it. But my memory's sorry. There's not too much concern about me not needing to write things down. I'm starting to ramble now. Anyway, if you're traveling, that's how you find, or how I find places to stay.